didn't just invade. They used sexual violence as a weapon of war. Rape, mutilation, execution. 6 sites, 1 method. Terror through women's bodies. Most can't speak, because most didn't survive. The Dina Project's July 8th report proves it. Organized, systematic, undeniable. This is not war. It is a war crime. Speak out. Demand justice.
Now here comes my question. What would the UK do if that would have happened in London? If October 7 would have happened in London, if October 7 would have happened in Berlin, in New York City, an army of terrorists would have invaded your city on an early morning, slaughtering your people, beheading people with kitchen knives, raping mother in front of their children, burning babies alive. If that would have happened in your cities, in your countries, what do you think your country would have done? You would have been raging. Your country would have went to war and laid waste to the country that did that. On top of everything, they also kidnapped your children and they refused to give them back, and they keep saying they want to do that again to you. You would have went to war. The US would have supported you. NATO would have supported you. Everybody in the world would have came and said, just go and erase them from the face of this earth. That kind of evil should never exist again. And if they would have tried to pull that trick and telling you, oh, you're killing our children, what are you doing, you're baby killers, you would have not fallen for that. You would have held them accountable, telling them, you know what, if you don't want your children to die, then stop using them as human shields, stop hiding behind them, come out of these holes and start fighting like real men. Let the women and children go to the bunkers when your men go and stand outside and face the consequences. Give us back our hostages, give us back our children, and surrender, because we will never let this happen again. But for some bizarre reason, you're allowed to defeat your enemies, but Israel is not allowed to defeat their enemies. When it's Israel, you always had to restrain yourself. You're not allowed to defeat your enemies. You're not allowed to defend yourself. Where is that double standard coming? Why, when it happened to Jews, it's allowed, and the Jews are not allowed to defend themselves? It's crazy. The Jews were kicked out of England. The Jews were kicked out of Germany. The Jews were kicked out of Europe. The Jews were kicked out of Russia. The Jews were kicked out of Africa. The Jews were kicked out of Egypt, out of Libya, out of Sudan. The Jews were kicked out of every country in the world. And now the Jews are living in their only country, the Jewish country, the nation of Israel. A tiny, tiny country. I live there. I know how it is. The river to the sea is not a big distance. It's literally, you can walk it. It took me 3 days to walk from the river to the sea, and I was taking my time. That's how tiny that nation, and for some reason, the Jewish people are not even allowed to live in their own nation. And when they come and try to defend themselves from barbarian and savages like that, the whole world goes and start demanding ceasefire, start calling them baby killers. You know who's the baby killers? The one who are hiding and using their own babies as human shields. We haven't heard a single time that Hamas is coming and saying, okay guys, we're going to stop using our women and children as human shields. We are surrendering. Here we go. Stop attacking us, take our weapons, take the hostages. We're sorry. What we did is terrible. We're never going to do that again. But please stop fighting us. We surrender. We haven't seen that. What they're doing instead, they're actually glorifying. They actually want to see more children dead. They want to see more of their kids being murdered. They want to see more of their families crying in agony as a house exploded with the whole family inside of it because Hamas was shooting from that house. They want to see that. And you know why? Because they know it works on you. Because they don't care about children life. You do. And what they do is they're using it to abuse you and to make you pressure a ceasefire. Thank God there was not a Piers Morgan show during Nazi Germany, even Joe Rogan during Nazi Germany, because then they'll be calling about the proportion of that war and maybe we should have mercy on the Nazis, and until today would have probably been living with an active evil Nazi regime trying to go and murder people all across the globe. If it wasn't for strong and brutal generals on the Allies side that came and said, we're not stopping until they're completely destroyed, until that ideology is crushed to the ground, until we make sure that there's not even a single Nazi cell that is still working and plotting to advance Nazi ideology around the globe. They went and they completely crushed it. Yes, there is still today, but when you look at it, Germany became a very peaceful nation. One of the most peaceful, actually. From hating the Jews so much to becoming one of the biggest supporter of the Jewish state. That's insane. One of the places that actually Jews migrate to. There's a lot of Jews that are coming to Germany to live here because it became a great country. And why? Because the Nazi ideology was completely crushed and humiliated. So when Israel is right now fighting a similar barbaric religious Muslim Nazi ideology, the whole world is going calling ceasefire and blaming Israel for the death of these monsters and their children. Now, their children are not monsters, they're victims, absolutely. But who's in charge for their death? Them. Because if Israel wanted to kill children, how come they didn't kill children in Iran? How come they barely killed any child in Lebanon? They went and completely obliterated one, if not the strongest terrorist organization on the face of this earth. Hezbollah was considered the strongest terrorist organization on the face of this planet. They were stronger than some countries and their militaries, and Israel went and completely destroyed, dismantled them, barely any civilian casualties or children. Israel went and crushed the Iranian regime military completely, humiliated them, almost destroyed them in 12 days, took down their entire command chain, destroyed their nuclear facilities, their bunkers, with barely killing any civilian and not children. Why? Because they were not looking to kill children. And luckily, these monsters over there haven't completely adapted the Gazan strategy of using their entire society as human shields. They haven't. They would if they could, but they haven't done it yet. So that's just a very good reminder of who are the kind of evil that we're fighting against, and why is it that everybody wants Israel to just restrain itself in order to save evil. Evil should be held accountable for its evil actions, not the West that is trying to fight it, not the good guys. Stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and see you next time.